Hello, everyone. Forgive my edits on this, but I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to piece this together in Premiere, but here goes. The first part of this is in Panopto. For this discussion, I have chosen two questions, but before we get to the questions, I want to focus on where in the text I'm pulling the root of my argument from. And I have to say that overall, in reading the book, some of the tone that I'm struck by is this notion that AI will do something in the future, and it will be done with some certainty. Along with that certainty, we'd all just be better off going along with it. I find this troubling for a number of reasons. I've been listening to and watching quite a number of AI related podcasts lately, and I've been filing these away in my YouTube account under the playlist entitled AI Video, Both Good and Bad. So, to compare and contrast, I am considering the following passage that comes at nearly the end of chapter 2 in our book. For the sake of brevity, I'll be using a recording of the book from Audible, which is where I've been reading the book. I believe the book may be narrated with a computer generated voice. How appropriate. Here we go.
But we will all need to learn how to think with AI. Those who can collaborate and think with AI will gradually replace those who can't. We will need to prepare students for this new era of human thinking and new definitions of the knowledge economy. What will employers want? There will be some job loss, but the larger phenomenon will be job change. Technology tends to boost productivity, and current predictions are that AI will increase global GDP by 7%. Personal computing and electricity both led to productivity booms, although in both cases 20 years after the technological breakthrough. If you asked the dean for a new assistant, or 10, you would expect to be asked to identify a return. What will you be able to do, or do better, than with the staff and budget you have now? AI may require everyone to do better, faster, and probably more work. Indeed, the rush of investment in AI is being driven by the promise of eventual revenue, with a large chunk of that profit coming from corporations that will find it cheaper to pay AI fees and get more and better work out of fewer employees. Businesses are going to pay for AI. CoCounsel costs $400 per month for the complete package because it is cheaper than the alternative, and that alternative is probably your graduates. Employers will soon have no reason to hire C students. Increased productivity and efficiency of workers will not come evenly, but it will come in many fields. Since productivity growth is usually associated with an increased standard of living, this could be a good thing, and more so if it leads to more patient and student time with doctors and professors, lower insurance premiums and legal costs, and maybe even the possibility of shorter work weeks or more leisure time. AI might help us become better listeners, provide better care, comfort someone in distress, and even give us more time to focus and think. Maybe.
Now, notice at the end where the authors use the word maybe. Just this past week, I happened to log in and watched one of my favorite podcasts, which is Why Is This Happening with Chris Hayes. This week, he had his guest, Ed Zitron, who is the author and host of Better Offline podcast, which I have chanced to cross before. Consider what he has to say here and in these brief comments from the Chris Hayes program. And while we watch, consider the question from our assignment. The author suggests that AI could improve both consistency and personalization by analyzing large amounts of data. Would that make you more comfortable accepting AI-assisted decisions? Why or why not?
Okay, do this doc review. Here's 1,000 documents. It would take a human to go through them. It can read and synthesize. Now, the question of whether it could like do it well or not is a different question. But to me, the difference is that you can at least articulate what it's for in certain circumstances or reasons or places it might be useful in a way that for me, the metaverse never did.
So there are uses for large language models. If you remove all of the hype,
Yes.
there are things they can do. The problem is here's a little challenge for you. Go and talk to a bunch of AI boosters and ban them from speaking in the future tense. Don't allow them to say anything about this will, it might, or it could. Say what it does today. Because when you do that, it's not really clear what's changed. So, yes, you can use it to review documents. the results are not great, or maybe they are. You actually don't know because you didn't read the documents. A thing that is based on statistics did. The idea that you can rely on it is inherently broken because OpenAI's own research says hallucinations are a part of these things. They're never going away. You have people in the AI industry claiming hallucinations are going away. They're just wrong.
Based on this, I would maintain that the jury is still out. There is a considerable amount of work that still needs to be done in order to have AI be reliable as a standalone source and be well worth the money that these firms will want to charge, and according to Ed, will have to charge in order to remain profitable. This begs the question, is human intervention still required? And when do the C students become unnecessary? To further this line of argument, let's have a look at the second question. Current AI tools vary widely in accuracy, tone, creativity, and reliability. What do these differences reveal about the strengths and limitations of AI overall? Again, consider that question while listening to this.
Again, the story that the AI people are telling. Invest now, it's not profitable, keep building. And if we get to something that can, for instance, do what a first-year associate at a law firm does, then you have a situation again. This is the case, right? The case is you've got a situation, we hire first-year associates, they largely do things like doc review and they draft memos. And we're going to have a model, it's going to be trained on legal stuff, it's going to be a, enterprise system that Claude charges $60,000 a year for. It's a huge amount of revenue. It would be like the most expensive software, basically. The business case here is that it's you hire a first-year associate for $120,000. Sure. We charge you $60,000, right? We're making a ton of money. You're saving $60,000. And it's a bummer that the first-year law associate's out of a job. But if we could do that at scale, if there's millions and millions of these kinds of jobs that people are making high 5 figures to 6 figures that we can sell you software to replace. I mean, again, this is the contention of why it would be valuable. This is the core contention. Like if you look into what these companies are saying, I guess the question then becomes, is that a plausible outcome? Because I think if it is plausible, you could probably make the math work. And if it's not plausible, then you can't.
So the law firm example is great. The problem is, I don't think enough people know what people do at jobs. Law firm associates make law firms work. Law firm associates are doing the work that partners don't want to do. And if any partners are listening, you know I'm bloody right. So yeah, if you what you're describing there would be AGI, that just this conscious computer, which by the way, everyone's real excited to control a conscious creature. That's just describing slavery. It's important to say what AGI is. It is describing slavery. And it's...
Right. You're saying if you achieve what they call artificial general intelligence.
Yes.
We actually just had a conversation about this, with David Chalmers about consciousness. That then you're actually... There's all sorts of moral implications of what that device is once you
it's
think...
a slave.
Right. Yes.
It's literally... But anyway, back to the law slave. So this theoretical thing, yeah, if it could do literally what an associate did, sure. But an associate does much more than just doc review. They're doing a bunch of research. And it's not just, I found a thing.
Right.
Look, it's drafting motions. If you get a motion wrong, a judge will sanction you, right, and you will embarrass the partner. What you're paying for with employees, in many cases, is actually risk management. And
judgment.
And judgment and taste and culture.
Yes.
And also risk management. You're handing the risk off to a human being that you can rely on and train. Also, how are we going to make partners if we can't make associates? We're just going to hire a law student to become a partner? I mean, I don't know. I could sit around handing other people's work and talking. No, that's not true. Partners do all sorts of work, I'm sure. But nevertheless, yeah, in theory, if you could replace $10,000, $60,000, $150,000 in the case of a law student, you can replace 10 of them with $60,000. Sure. It isn't doing that. And large language models are sold as, the reason I mentioned the thing earlier with AI boosters, they need to be legally banned from saying, in the future, it will, could.
Right.
We need to talk about what's happening today. It isn't doing it.
And herein lies my overall contention, that despite accuracy, tone, creativity, and reliability, you have to consider the human element in all of this. I like how, in the end of this portion of the discussion, Ed comes back to his original statement that is made by AI enthusiasts when they speak with the same kind of certainty that I was picking up from in the text. Reference the recording that I played here first at the beginning. It ended with that maybe. Now, to go one step further in all this, as Chris and Ed finally get around to what the human element feels that needs to be done, let's hear this portion.
There is one other thing, though.
Yeah.
I think that there is a social contagion that will happen with this. Look around the world of bosses right now, and the amount of them who are like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to replace everyone. I want to replace all the actors in my movies and replace them with
Yes.
workers. He's just going to give me money, and then I'm going to have all the money. And the pieces of crap I sell things to, there's hogs braying for my slop. The excitement in it. But also, how many of them are just wrong? How many of them just say things that aren't true? We have people in newspapers saying things about AI that aren't true. We have bosses claiming things about AI that aren't true. We have people lying about it. It's truly obscene. And regular people know. Regular people. Like if you go and talk to like electricians, HVAC people, hairdressers, teachers, their reaction to this is horror. There are some who are using it to cut corners. Everyone wants to do that. Human beings do that.
Well, there's also a lot of people that are like, I mean, there's also a ton of people that have like crazily intense parasocial relationships and talk to it all the time.
I think that there should be criminal tribunals for the companies that it's disgusting. Anyway.
Okay, I'm going to try to add the URL to this entire podcast. Take a bit and consider it. It is well worth a listen. Let me know what you think, eh? Ciao.